subcommittee recommendation is favorable with amendments. The bill requires MDE to establish, subject to the availability of funding, a private well water quality database utilizing an online portal to receive water quality tests as specified. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes language establishing a private well safety program and fund and related references, requires MDE to adopt regulations under the bill by a certain date, and makes the establishment and implementation of the online portal subject to the availability of funding. Move the amendments.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bill's before us with amendments. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill? Okay, let's hope it actually gets out of the Senate. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we've got Jacobs and Otto who are opposed. So is Morgan and Baker. And okay, it's a straight. Any Republicans voting for this? Yeah, Siliberti. Good man. No. Oh, straight party line. After all those nice things Vaughn Stewart says about you, Barry. Okay. House Bill 150.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 150 received a favorable recommendation from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee, favorable with amendments. Mr. Chair, as amended, the bill establishes that adaptive reuse of a property to develop affordable multiple housing is an eligible use of the proceeds of a loan for specified housing programs administered by DHCD. And, since you asked, requires DHCD to notify applicants to certain programs that adaptive reuse of a property to develop affordable multi-family housing is an eligible use loan proceeds. Now, the subcommittee amendment, since you asked, the subcommittee amendment provides that DHCD does not need to notify applicants for a loan that adaptive reuse is an eligible use of a loan proceeds as required under the bill if the program does not focus on housing production. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
And there's a second. Any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it.
Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
And there's a second. Any discussion on this bill before we vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously, and I think, even Barry, right. And it looks like we're all here, so it's literally a full house. Okay. House Bill 151.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 151 received a favorable with amendments from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. As amended, the bill requires a landlord to notify a tenant in writing if the landlord intends to increase the tenant's rent during a subsequent terms of the tenancy. Notice must be provided by first-class mail with a certificate of mailing, or if elected by the tenant, sent by electronic delivery. A landlord may not condition the acceptance of a lease application on the tenant's election to receive notice of rent increase by electronic delivery and use of a lease or form of a lease containing a provision that requires a tenant to accept notice of rent increase by electronic delivery. The notice provision in the bill does not apply to a landlord who provides a tenant with a written notice of intent to terminate the tenancy. The bill also requires a certain report on local governments that adopt certain policies related to residential units. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the amendments? All right, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it.
Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. We have, it's a straight party line.
Nope.
No, wait. Oh, Morgan's voting. So all the Republicans except Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. HB 219 came out of subcommittee favorable with amendments. As amended, HB 219 requires the St. Mary's County Board of Commissioners to generate a report recommending and describing the areas of St. Mary's County that the county board considers appropriate for the operation of unregistered golf carts on public highways, subject to the standards established in the bill. The amendments are the bill. And I'm very excited about this bill because it lays out the standards. So I encourage all of you who are interested in golf carts to read this bill. Move the amendments, please.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have the ayes have it. Bill's before us as amended. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
Push the button. Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 331 received a favorable with amendment report from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. The bill establishes additional requirements for virtual meetings that are held in housing corporations, condominiums, or homeowners associations, and authorizes the person conducting a meeting or the person's designee to take specified action during the meeting, including removing a participant from the meeting under certain circumstances. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 specifies that a meeting of a governing body held by electronic transmission may only be held in accordance with existing applicable meeting requirements. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Is this the first obscure HOA bill that you are not sponsoring?
I do have to spread the wealth, Mr. Chair.
I see, okay. On the amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes
Move the
have
bill
it.
as amended.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any There we go, Delegate Law.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, we heard a nice little preview on this bill earlier. Thank you, Delegate Naraki, I believe it was. As amended, HB 391 requires a parking citation issued by a political division, a state agency, or a third-party contractor authorized to conduct parking enforcement on behalf of a political subdivision or state agency to include a box that the person issued the citation may check to indicate that the registration plates cited were not issued for the vehicle described in the citation. The subcommittee amendments are 1, include third-party contractors as subject to the bill, and 2, require verification instead of investigation. Move the amendments.
Second. Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, if not, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. On the bill, is there a second?
Second.
How did we not think of this decades ago? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, Ann?
Yeah, why didn't you think of this back in 1992? No. Anyway, all those in favor? Yeah, right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously. House Bill 550.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 550 came out of subcommittee favorable with amendments. This administration bill, 1, modifies 2 transportation sector programs funded by the Strategic Energy Investment Fund, or SEIF. 2, modifies the authorized uses of certain alternative compliance payments deposited in SEIF. And 3, increases the dollar cap amount on the amount of certain SEIF revenues that may be allocated towards administrative expenses. There are 3 subcommittee amendments. The amendments are as follows. 1, for the EV recharging equipment rebate program, it increases the annual cap for the entire program to $2.5 million. It increases the caps for rebates that individuals or business entities may receive, and authorizes the Maryland Energy Administration to offer additional benefits for recharging equipment in certain multifamily housing, planned urban developments, and condominiums. The second amendment for the medium-duty and heavy-duty zero-emission vehicle grant program, the amendment, number one, alters the maximum amount of a grant to be 75% of incremental costs. Two, clarifies vehicle and equipment qualifications for grant eligibility. Three, establishes certain preferences for grant eligibility. And four, increases the annual appropriation for the program to $10 million. And the last amendment, number three, for SEEF, it expands the pool of persons eligible to benefit from loans and grants from SEEF for the creation of new Tier 1 renewable energy resources. Move the amendments.
Any discussion on the amendments? Are you speaking on the amendments of the bill?
Well, I got questions about what it did.
All right, go ahead.
Did this meld another bill?
Yes, this folded HB 7 into,
And the
This bill.
CEF, that's federal money?
no.
That is a program, I'll explain what that
Thank
is.
you.
It's a strategic energy investment fund, I believe. Every year, there's a credit trading market for renewable energy credits, and there are auctions every year.
So my electric bill pays it?
Indirectly, yeah, yeah. And about of all, no, actually, no, your electric bill doesn't pay for it, but what happens is it aggregates a lot of money indirectly. I suppose you could say that, but it raises an enormous amount of money. About a third of the money goes to help poor folks with their electric bills, and the other 2/3 are for energy-saving programs and other incentives intended to reduce carbonization and do stuff like that. So, for example, I believe and Dana can correct me on this because I think he knows a little more about this than I do. The programs, the Empower Maryland programs are funded by that. So I think you can only say you pay for it indirectly because to the extent that electric bills are higher, if we did none of this, then yes. But Maryland electric bills are sort of in the middle range of states. We're not stratospherically
I
high
haven't
like
found that to be
California.
the case, but
Well, I mean, like compared to Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Virginia, we're very similar, but, so that's the answer to that.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, on the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us as amended. Is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Vice Chair Stein?
Yes.
Holmes? Love? Yes. Jacobs? Yes. Otto?
No.
Siliberti?
No, he's a yes.
Sorry. Tarassa? Yes. Ruth? Yes. Long? Yes. Allen? Yes. Naraki? No. Morgan? Yeah. Addison? Yes. Baker? No. Zeigler?
He's a no.
Foley? Yes. Guyton? Yes. Davis? Yes. Lehman? Yes. Stewart? Yes. Boyce? Yes. Healy? Aye. And Chairman?
Chairman votes yes. So that's 20-3. I think we're all on here. Okay, well, Delegate Terrazza would like to be on the bill, and Vaughn, you've got or are you just the next bill? Okay. Okay. So the bill passes 20-3. House Bill 561, Delegate Stewart.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. The subcommittee recommendation for HB 561 is favorable, no amendments. It authorizes the town of Mount Airy to undertake urban renewal projects. Move the bill.
Okay, any discussion? What's that? Straight favorable, right. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? The bill passes unanimously. House Bill 624, Delegate Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The recommendation is favorable with amendments. This bill alters provisions governing notice requirements applicable to a water supplier when a water system is not in compliance with state drinking water regulations. Amendment number 1 is technical. Number 2 makes the requirement under the bill to provide at least 3 means of notice apply only to certain water suppliers serving at least 3,300 customers. And number 3 clarifies that water suppliers must only provide notice under the bill to MDE and MDEM of a confirmed positive test for E. coli, alters existing notification requirements, including by making requirements consistent with public notification requirements under the Safe Drinking Water Act, and expanding certain notification requirements relating to MTBE. Move the amendments.
Second.
Any discussion on those amendments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 639 received a favorable with amendment recommendation. As amended, the bill alters statutory provisions that prohibit unreasonable restrictions on land use related to installation of a solar collector system under specified conditions. Specifically, the bill states that restriction on use is unreasonable if application of the restriction on a particular proposal, 1, increases the installation cost of a system by at least 5%, or 2, reduces the energy generation of the solar collector system by at least 10. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it.
Move the bill as amended.
What is in local government. This is a local bill. This is from St. Mary's, Garrett County Board of County Commissioners meetings. If the motion is favorable with amendments as amended, the bill requires the Garrett County Commissioners to hold public meetings in person or over video broadcast at least twice a month. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 authorizes a public meeting to be live streamed rather than video broadcast, and prohibiting, in the absence of a formal declaration of a state of emergency, the Board of County Commissioners from Garrett County from meeting solely through live stream for more than 2 consecutive meetings. Move the amendments.
Any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bills before us as amended. Is there a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chair, House Bill 691, I want to thank the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee for all the work that took place in this. And I'm letting the subcommittee know that from this point forward, Delegate Stewart is taking this bill here and on the floor. And I just wanted to thank you all for the work.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I wanted to thank the subcommittee chair who put a yeoman's effort, as well as Matt Michler, into the final product that we have that I think is a good product that we can all be proud of. So the subcommittee recommendation for HB 691 is favorable with amendments. The bill as amended does 2 main things. 1, it codifies the implied warranty of habitability and establishes general standards for raising a cause of action under the implied warranty of warrant of habitability. And 2nd, it establishes standards for group actions under a lead petitioner for rent escrow cases where multiple tenants have a claim arising from threats to life, health, or safety that exists in a substantially similar or related manner in more than 1 dwelling unit. It also specifies explicitly that the existence of mold in a dwelling unit, which does present a serious and substantial threat to the health of the occupants, constitutes a dangerous condition or defect for which the tenant can obtain relief. And it also establishes that certain local laws dealing with rent escrow that provide more protection or broader applicability preempt the state law established for the, under the Act. The amendments, among other things, adds to the list of examples of conditions or defects which people can sue under. It clarifies the duties and relief provided under the Act for single tenants, for lead petitioners, and for groups of tenants. It alters damages and relief provisions. It requires separate escrow accounts for each member of the group action to put their money into. It clarifies the preemption issue. It alters the notice provisions. It addresses what happens if a lead petitioner leaves, and it clarifies that the lead petitioner doesn't represent the interest of other tenants in the action. Move the amendments.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendments? On the amendments or on the bill?
On the amendment.
Go for it.
Did the amendments relieve the consternation that the unfavorable, the opponents of the bill had?
What I would say, and the subcommittee chair may want to weigh into, what I would say is that we have not gotten any indication that the unfavorable folks have totally removed their objections, and I don't want to speak for them, but what I will say is that we came to the table with them and all the other stakeholders and tried to put a consensus product forward, and we took several of their amendments. And in fact, what I just read off is we took about 95% of what they wanted.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay, on the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the amendments carry. The bill is before us as.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 710 came out of subcommittee favorable. It authorizes the placement of speed monitoring systems in Anne Arundel County on highways in residential districts with a maximum posted speed limit of 35 miles an hour. It gives Anne Arundel the same authority that Montgomery and Prince George's have. Moved the bill.
Second.
That's me again. Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 820 came out favorable with amendments as amended. House Bill 820 requires Maryland Transportation Authority to place 8 devices, this says 4, that display real-time posting of the speed in which a driver is traveling on the inter-county connector I-200 in Montgomery County, to increase speed limit enforcement efforts and collect data on speeding violations on Maryland Route 220. The amendments are the bill. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, on the amendments, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bill's before us as amended. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on this local bill? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Jacobs, it's not a camera, it's just a Weivel device. It's what?
Just the Weivel devices.
Just the Weivel devices.
Not doing tickets.
No
Nope.
tickets, no cameras.
I'm good.
Okay, all right, it's unanimous. 834.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's me as well. We are secondary on this bill. This came out favorable with amendments. As amended, 834 requires the PSC to expand the electric vehicle pilot program to allow participating electric companies to install EV charging stations in new and existing multifamily dwellings in underserved communities. There are 4 amendments. Amendment number 1 terminates the expansion on 12/31/25. Amendment number 2 accepts instances of force majeure or vandalism from the uptime requirements. Amendment number 3 requires an electric company in the program that does not satisfy uptime requirements to file a corrective action plan with the commission. And number 4 authorizes the PSC to impose a penalty or take remedial action against an electric company that does not meet uptime requirements. Move the amendments.
This bill, tell me how it differs from what we did with 550. Or how they parallel or how they differ.
They're
'Cause
unrelated.
We didn't hear this bill. This was appropriations, and I don't know what happened, so.
This was economic matters, actually.
Or was it economic matters?
Yeah.
We were secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an existing program that they do by order, the electric vehicle pilot program. Currently, they put it in government buildings, state, municipal, county. They put in charging stations. And this bill expands that to allow it in new and existing multifamily dwellings in underserved communities. So it's unrelated to our previous bill, other than the fact that it's electrification.
Doug Stein.
So I take it that it's authorizing installation at multifamily buildings in underserved communities, but nonetheless, the management company, the apartment complex has to apply for it. Is that right? I mean,
I would think
apply
so.
to participate.
I would think so.
Okay.
Doug Terrazzo.
When you say multifamily, does that include townhouse communities?
Yeah. It's an apartment.
Well, I mean, there's 4 or more in a townhouse community, connected.
Dwellings.
Single dwelling.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Naraki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To be clear, authorizing, not requiring, is that?
Well, it's requiring the PSC to expand the program. It's not requiring anyone else to
But
participate.
not requiring multifamily dwelling units
Nobody's
to
required to
install?
participate in the
Okay,
program.
gotcha.
Okay. Were we on the amendments? Yeah.
Are there amendments?
Were we on the amendments, or what are we doing?
We were on the amendment.
On the amendments. Okay, any more discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bill's before us is amended. Is there a second? Any discussion on the bill? Okay, we will proceed.
Bill 887 is a St. Mary's County local bill. This bill alters the requirement for the St. Mary's County Metropolitan Commission to obtain approval from the county commissioners for certain loan applications and codifies existing practices of the Metcom with respect to the payment of certain costs and defines certain terms and makes certain technical changes. Move the bill.
Straight favorable?
Straight favorable.
Okay, any discussion on this local bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes, no, it's unanimous among those present. House Bill 1004.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The recommendation is favorable. This bill authorizes Wicomico County to establish sanitary districts within the county. Move the bill. No amendments.
Any discussion on this local bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously. House Bill 1118. Doug Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Subcommittee recommendation is unfavorable.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. I was.
1118, I have it. Motion unfavorable.
Motion unfavorable. Okay, the motion is unfavorable. Any discussion on the bill? On the unfavorable motion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Otto is opposed, Siliberti is opposed, Naraki is opposed, Morgan is opposed, and Baker is opposed. Everybody else is in favor. The unfavorable motion carries. Okay, 1173. Delegate Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 1173 came out of subcommittee favorable with amendments. As amended, HB 1173 establishes a new regulatory framework that applies to recreational vehicle manufacturers, distributors, and dealers. The subcommittee amendment generally provides for a new MVA licensing scheme for RV manufacturers whose vehicles are sold in the state. Move the amendment.
Second.
Any discussion on those amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bill's before us is amended, and there is a second. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously. 1194.
1194 came out of the subcommittee favorable. It prohibits a person from parking certain vehicles in the town of Sharpsburg, Washington County. Move the bill.
Any discussion on this local bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously. 1253.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 1253 authorizes specified officers of a volunteer fire company and the fire police of a volunteer fire company to equip their privately owned vehicles with red or red and white lights or signal devices. There are no amendments. Move the bill.
Any discussion on this bill? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Opposed, no. The bill carries unanimously. House Bill 1262 is being withdrawn. The motion is motion unfavorable, withdrawn by sponsor. There is a second. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The bill is withdrawn. Okay, we're adjourned. Listen up for announcements on the floor.